A new trend among families is to give children experiences instead of things. The popular reason given by parents for this is based on their own observations that their children don't usually remember the toys that they've owned, but they do remember their experiences for a lifetime. What if their school lessons were likewise based on experiences? Experiential learning has been around in some ways in schools for a long time, most usually in science laboratories in secondary school or in the block area in kindergarten. And I would expect that these are moments in our own schooling that we remember aspects of, at least much more than any particular notebook page of writing or math work. If that is the case, that manipulating objects while dynamically interacting with others for hands-on learning are aspects of our education that we can still remember clearly, then we might wonder why more of everyday instruction hasn't been developed to be experience-based. The New York State Education Department proposes to implement a new pathway for state-issued high school diplomas, one that would provide for project-based learning and performance-based assessments. What does this mean for the reimagining of standard education for our children? The program is called Plan Pilot, and it proposes to take a look at some schools considered to be innovative that have been using project-based learning and performance-based assessments for years already, and to promote them as mentor schools for other schools identified to be pilot schools. Parents can get involved by working with their parent groups at their schools, sometimes referred to as PTOs or PTAs, and ask about Plan Pilot to know if their school is going to be a pilot school in this program. Sometimes there are schools where there is maybe a department or an individual teacher who is already using project-based learning. In these ways, children are presented with a problem at the beginning of a unit of study, and this can range from elementary through high school, and they work together as a whole group and as small group teams to work to find solutions towards the problem. And in the meantime, they need information and new skills and knowledge to be able to solve the problem. And that's where traditional sort of lecture style presentations are made by teachers, but in small workshops and in ways that have deep meaning for the children, where they are really inspired or motivated to want to know how to do something, how to learn about something so they can solve the problem that has meaning for them. So this has a big impact. It could have a big impact, not just on the high school diploma for 12th graders, but all the way from kindergarten, because it will influence how instruction is presented to children, what sort of opportunities they might have, what will their performance look like in a performance-based assessment. Sometimes when we hear the word performance, we're thinking of the arts, singing and dancing and acting, but performance can also be performing a lab experiment or making a dynamic presentation to in a debate style for history or social studies, or to present something in a dynamic way to solve a problem in a real world, like how to design a golf course or how to engineer roads for minimum traffic and maximum safety, for example. So this is a very exciting time, and at least in New York State, and I think moving across the United States and throughout Latin America, there are opportunities for parents to have influence in how the instruction is to be rolled out. As you know, from COVID, we're talking about reimagining how we want to live and how we want our schools to be and how we want our children to experience their learning throughout their childhood.